Nifty little talk, Mr. Austin. The kid's eyes mocked me from the recesses of a hooded gray sweatshirt. I'd used the word earlier to describe a research app that had proved helpful to me. The kid was throwing the word back in my face. I chose to let it go and focus on the larger insult. Speech. It was a speech, I corrected him. He was playing to his buddies a few feet away. The kid smirked. And that prize thing, like wow. It's the Pulitzer, son. Not some whistle ring you pull out of a box of Cracker Jacks. Yeah, whatever. I walked the open hallway. 10 years separated me from my graduation. This wasn't my high school anymore. The buildings were the same, but the occupants had changed. Everywhere I looked, there were hooded sweatshirts. Since when had my alma mater become a school for Unabomber groupies? Swept along in a river of adolescent angst, an endless stream of tattoos, piercings, colorful swatches of hair, studded leather chokers, and black lipstick, I tracked the smart-mouthed kid as he passed. He joined his pod of friends, casting himself as the hero who'd gotten under the skin of some old geezer. They looked my way and laughed. What is it about high school that brings out the worst in the human species? All my teenage insecurities, like faithful old dogs, were waiting for me when I stepped on campus and had been nipping at my heels all morning. I had an overwhelming urge to grab the kid by the scruff of his neck and take him on to teach him a thing or two about respect. Instead, I told myself I wasn't going to sink to his level. What difference did it make if some identity-challenged adolescent didn't appreciate the magnitude of my literary achievement? I told myself to let it go. I was the mature one here. Breaking eye contact with him, I turned forward and walked smack into a metal pole. A pair of co-eds, one plump and one rail-thin, gasped. Their hands flew to their mouths at first in shock, but then to hide their giggles. A wiry boy with a serious acne problem laughed openly. Ouch! That's gotta hurt! He was just glad it wasn't him. Are you all right, sir? The plump co-ed asked. Do you want us to take you to the nurse's station? I cringed as the image flashed in my mind, me with a co-ed under each arm being assisted out of the fast lane. I assured the girls I was fine. I struck a fine pose, more than fine, robust, virile, and continued on my way, eager to put them, the pole, and the incident behind me. A buzzer sounded. The corridor cleared rapidly as students disappeared into open doorways like water pouring down drains. With the hallway to myself, I rubbed my forehead and wondered if the pole had left a mark. A familiar spring breeze swirled past me, and without the distraction of students, my thoughts turned nostalgic. The outdoor stucco walls were the same mud-brown color I remembered, the doors aqua blue. The open central corridor still stretched the length of the campus, with alternating wings of classrooms and grassy lawns on each side. Approaching one of my former classrooms, I peered inside. A small red-headed woman with a hairstyle that predated my lifetime stood in front of the classroom. She wielded a wooden pointer like it was a broadsword. Behind her was a map of Gettysburg with red and blue arrows indicating troop movements. Reminiscing? I turned toward the voice behind me to find a smiling, horseshoe-bald Hispanic man with a thick black mustache. He held a sheaf of papers in one hand. Extending his other hand, he introduced himself. Carlos Ruiz Mendoza. His smile widened, revealing a gold tooth. Grant, Austin. Yeah, I know. The Assembly. Congratulations, by the way. The Pulitzer. That's quite an achievement. I struggled modestly, but didn't disagree. Are you a teacher? I asked. Remedial reading. He said it like he was apologizing. The way I see it, if I do my job, by the time my students complete the course, they'll actually be able to read your book. They won't, of course. We both laughed. It's not exactly Game of Thrones, I admitted. Mendoza motioned toward the classroom. Do you know Rose? Inside the classroom, the teacher, Rose, had leveled her broadsword at a sandy-haired student who slumped in his chair and stared at her defiantly. I haven't had the pleasure, I said. This was Coach Walker's room when I was here. Walker. Quite a character from what I hear, Mendoza said. He passed on 2 years before I arrived. Stories still circulate, though. I laughed. Believe them.